Welcome to the Amber by Creation podcast. My name is Amber Shawnee, and this is your space for feminine empowerment, personal development, and discovering the value in you. Today, we have a very special episode. As you can see, for those of you who are watching on video, we have a video this week, and then we also have our audio, of course. And this is a very special episode because it is Halloween themed. Halloween is one of my favorite times of year to me. From October 1st to October 31st is an entire month of Halloween. I love it because I get to be creative. I get to make up costumes. I get to watch scary movies all day and scare the crap out of myself. And it's been something that I've enjoyed for a long time. It, ties for me back into like family traditions, getting a movie from Blockbuster every Friday, watching scary movies with the family. So it is definitely something I've always enjoyed and had just amplified in my adult life. So our topic today on here at episode 9 of the Amber by Creation podcast, our topic today is terrifying. It is horrifying. It's one of the scariest things that most young women are facing. No, it's not sex trafficking. No, it's not total career failure. No, it's not mental health issues, although those are also equally terrifying. Today's topic is something that can end up for a lot of women leading to all of those other things, and that is dating. The horrifying, terrifying, scary world of dating in this time we're in now for young Black women, which can, as I said before, can lead to all those other things we just mentioned: sex trafficking, mental emotional health crisis. All these other things are so deeply attached to how we relate to people, to men, especially in dating, especially also online dating. So you just started dating, you've been dating for decades. There's something that is uniquely terrifying, I think, in modern times around dating, being ghosted or meeting people who are not who we thought they were. They're hiding behind masks, other horror-related theme references to dating, insert here. So we're dealing with all these things. And I've been so blessed to have someone who has so much wisdom and ability to guide me in this area, because it's helped me see a lot of things I definitely would have been blind to had I not had that kind of guidance and support. So we're going to get into those. But before we get started, our affirmation, what we are practicing today through this episode, is I value myself. And that is something that I'm on a personal journey with, learning how to value myself more in relationships, more in whatever it is that I'm doing, more in my crafts and my gifts and my skills, learning how to value myself and show up that way. So all these things that we talk about in this episode, I can manage, work through, and move through. And I would like the same for you. It's the same message, same thing for you. I value myself. That is what we are practicing in today's episode. Okay, so in getting into this conversation, one thing I want to do is compare our dating lives and our dating life scenarios to horror movies, because in writing this down, really making the comparison and thinking about the comparison, I found that there's a lot of similarities, and I feel like making this comparison can make it easier for us to see how we're being and become more aware of the impact of how we're being on our lives. So the first thing I want to say that I've been able to, that I've been guided to do, I've learned, and that I'm still practicing, is to trust yourself. And the feeling is the evidence. So in dating and relationships, oftentimes I found for myself personally, I get stuck on what I want the person to be like, what I imagine it could be, and instead of tuning into how I'm actually feeling intuitively, I block all that out and I try to focus on the person's words or things they did that seem like the right thing to do, to kind of convince myself, consciously and subconsciously, that this person is the right person and they will change and they will become whatever it is that I'm looking for. And so when I say trust yourself, one thing that came up for me around that is the feeling is the evidence. Do not wait for the physical evidence that what you're feeling is true. And one experience I had recently with this guy, I was really, I want to say I was really into him. I was having enjoyable conversations. I liked his energy, I liked his personality. But I kept having this feeling in the pit of my stomach that was kind of uneasy. I had some red flags coming up, and I was like, I don't really know. That was the feeling. It was a deep uncertainty, but the words were great. The actions were great. Not really, but at the beginning, it seemed like they were a little different from what I had experienced in the past. So I was like, okay, even though I'm feeling kind of uncertain about this, he's saying some really great stuff. He's telling me what I want to hear. So let me just override what I'm feeling with what I can see with my eyes. But at the same time, I was also trying to go online, go on social media, and try and find his profiles, try and look up his background information, like, has he been to prison? Has he been arrested? Does he have a criminal record? So in the back of my head, I was looking for physical evidence that what I was feeling, that deep uncertainty, had validity. And that's one thing that I learned you do not want to do, because in horror movies, when there is a family and they move into a haunted house and they feel, maybe the child or one of the parents feels like something is off, something is wrong, it's strange, it's creepy, what do? Do they pay attention to those feelings? No. They stay in the house anyway, and then the child gets possessed, or a demon comes through the wall, or, someone gets sucked into a TV, and then, they're in a bunch of chaos and mess and drama. And so looking at that, I was like, if you wait for the physical evidence, it will be too late. It'll already be over. It'll already be a wrap. It'll already be very, so much more difficult, painful, emotional to get out of than if you had just paid attention to the feeling in the beginning. Because they don't do that in horror movies. They get the feeling, they pretend it's not there, they look at their wonderful life in their new beautiful house, and then the child gets possessed. So that is the physical evidence that something is wrong. But you don't want to wait for that physical evidence. You want to pay attention to the feeling, notice the feeling, acknowledge the feeling, and follow it. And so I ended up having to block that guy because I never really felt like I had the physical evidence I was looking for that something was off. But at the end of the day, I had to decide that the feeling was enough, and that whatever it was that was off, I wasn't trying to go forward into it. Because also something else Melanie has taught me is to, when you're considering if you need to keep someone in your life or release them out of your life, is the value that they create or the value they bring to your life. And he personally wasn't bringing a whole lot of value to my life, so I didn't mind releasing that. If it was a very valuable relationship, I may have, continued to communicate and continue to, wait for that discernment to know what was off. Because it could be that if I had cats, he didn't like cats. It could be that, or it could be he is a serial killer. You never know. And so I would have waited for that discernment had the relationship had more value to me, but it didn't. So I just released it. Okay, number 2 is stay in reality. Don't go off into the illusions, the idea of what you want being what is real, because what you want and what is real may not be on the same page. And now I don't remember the exact plot of Carrie, but I will say that if she was in reality, she would have known not to get up on that stage and take the crown as, I think it was prom queen, when she knew that people were tormenting her in school. Why would you, buy into the illusion that for her that this was some big symbolic gesture, or she was finally accepted or validated, when she knew her reality of being at school? She could have gone about that a different way and just recognized herself, or had another area where she fit in more, where she felt accepted, so you get that validation. Then she would have had to, have superpowers and, kill people or whatever she did in the movie. So that's an example here as a horror movie reference, because the minute you go to sleep, hoping someone is who you want them to be, you render yourself, or you can render yourself, mentally and emotionally unstable. There have been times where I was like, okay, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I know I'm not going to fall asleep. I'm paying attention. I'm watching all the signs and looking at all the red flags. He not gonna snow me. I know what I'm, going through all that whole thing. Like, I'm not gonna get caught up. I can pay attention. I know what's going on. And the whole time, I'm an illusion. Whole time. I didn't even realize it. And it doesn't only affect your actual dating life and your relationship, but it affects your entire life. When you're in this space where you are mentally and emotionally not present because you are unknowingly in a huge illusion, the decisions you make are life-wide. So you may make bad decisions in your money. You may make bad decisions at work. You make bad decisions in your self-care, bad decisions with your family. And so it tumbles and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it creates chaos all over your life. This one illusion in your dating life where you say, I'm fully present, I'm not getting caught up, I know what's going on, and you're really not, it can create massive chaos. And that's something that I wrote down because it is scary. When you are mentally and emotionally not there, the decisions you make in your mind, they are realistic. And so that's how I can see like different things that come out on social media where girls are saying that they fought somebody and they ended up going to jail, or, they keyed someone's car, they set their house on fire. It's very plausible because when you're in that space where you've been in this illusion, you've been in what you want to happen, and then it doesn't work out, it can be so painful and hurtful, and you just get angry. And it can cause a deep emotional and mental breakdown. So you want to make sure that you are staying in the reality of what is actually happening. And one thing that's been helping me out with that is reminding myself of something, of course, Melanie has also taught me, is to make sure their words and their actions match. So if they're saying all kinds of great things and it sounds great and they want to be with you, or they like you, or they enjoy your company, or think you're smart, look at the actions. Are they making time? Are they taking time, and are they investing their time and energy and resources or money into you, into your dreams, into what you want to do, and not just itty bitty money like $25, like paying for your rent, paying for your groceries, and not just groceries. I mean groceries and rent, like large financial investments, large time investments, spending lots of uninterrupted time with you, not making excuses, that sort of thing. Making sure that whatever they're saying out of their mouths has a physical mirror, is matching in their actions. Because they may say that you're great, but then when it comes time for them to meet you in person or take you out, they're like, or they may say you're wonderful and they love talking to you, but it's just, you can never get them on the phone, or they always jumping off the phone to go do something else, so you have to watch out for if their words are matching their actions. And also, you want to also make sure you have someone trusted close to you that you can always be as like a sounding board, because you and your mind is not your friend when you're in an illusion, because it's going to keep you in the cycle. It's going to keep feeding you the same stuff. You need to have someone there who can see you, has a external view. You can see the other person you're talking to, see the relationship, and see your life. So they can give you some really great advice and help you snap back into reality, because you can't always bring yourself back, because your mind is going to keep you in that space. And when you are having, when it's hard for you, or you don't have another way to kind of reconnect with your reality, you want to make sure you have someone you trust there to help you out, to remind you of who you are, and to help you come back. Number 3, be patient. This is something that is new to me, because when it comes to relationships, meeting people, connecting, I am not patient at all. I want the person to be in love with me. As the minute we latch eyes, I'm like, you are in love with me. But it doesn't work like that, because first of all, that's not real, that's in movies. And second of all, having a connection is what develops a sustainable relationship, and also you get to know them, they get to know you, if it's a good match for you, all that kind of good stuff. So be patient, and don't rush. And in horror movies, we always see that people, end up in these horrifying scenarios because they are rushing. They are rushing to, put this offer down in this house. They're rushing to be popular or be liked by other people. They're rushing to whatever it is the scenario is. It's always a rush. And in a rush, you're desperate. You're not looking out for different things that are important. And you're focused on an outcome, not thinking about the consequences of getting that outcome or moving towards that outcome. So make sure that you're being patient, you're not rushing, and you're not in your mind saying, I'm looking for the person. Is this person the one? Is it finally time now? No, is it time now? Okay, is this person? No, okay, is this person? You just want to completely eliminate that and focus on connecting. And again, something that's new to me. So I'm doing this. I'm learning how to practice this and practicing this, learning how to talk to someone to get to know them, not to fulfill some kind of idea in my mind, not to look for a reaction or validation, but really talking to them to connect, to get to know them, and to see how they may fit into my life or what gifts they bring or what I can learn from or how I can grow in that area. That's what you want to make sure you're focusing on. Don't rush. Number 4, know your environment. One thing they always do in horror movies is they don't know they're in a horror movie because they always break all the rules. They split up. There's a couple that goes and has sex in some random wilderness area or in the shower while the killer is on the loose. They always make these decisions that seem so dumb to us watching, but they just don't know what their environment is. They don't know they're in a horror movie. They just think they're living their regular lives. And so when we go into dating, we want to make sure that we are aware of our environment. And our environment right now is that no one wants to feel. You can hear in all the songs. It's not about feelings. It's about money. It's about power. It's about having someone interested in you, but you're not interested in them, and that's power. It's about control. It's about instant. It's about, hook up. It's about visual. And so that's our environment right now in dating. And so we can't go outside looking for Prince Charming and just go out with a bunch of different men, looking for a certain experience or thinking that's going to be the one, because that's not the environment we're in right now. We're in an environment where people are not trying to feel. So how are you going to have a great connection with someone if they don't want to feel and you don't want to feel? And it's all about power. It's not about love. It's not about relationship. It's not about, any of that. And so that's one thing that has really been sticking out for me a lot. Like, I've seen things online, people saying, since you're single, you can go out and just meet a bunch of different random men and do that. I personally would not do that, meet a bunch of different random men, because of the environment. We have to know when we're in a horror movie. We don't want to go out and break all the rules of a horror movie. So we don't want to go out with random people that we don't know, that we maybe have met online, don't know a lot about, have an uncertain feeling about, that we haven't already sent their personal information to one of our friends or our mom or some kind of matriarchal figure or whatever guidance figure you have in your life, male or female or otherwise. You want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for safety and security and not forgetting the environment that we're in right now. You turn on the news, you can hear about incels and men who are tired of women, men who are, sick of being, alone or feel like they're being rejected all the time. And so you just want to be careful. Again, that number one thing, trust that feeling, go with that feeling. And when you feel an uncertainty, even if it's small, because you don't know what it is yet, you want to make sure you follow it, because it could be a small thing or it could be a huge thing. You don't want to get caught up and be stuck and have to find out in a way that is very impactful to you in your life. Okay, number 5. Actually, and also as a little bit of an add-on to number 4, I just reread my notes, and one thing I added in here was, as a part of knowing your environment, a short story is that I went out on a date with this guy, and I had this choker necklace on, almost like this one, but it was black. And later on, we went on a couple more dates. He told me that he thought I was a hoe because of my necklace. And so that is the environment that we're in. Everything is sexualized. So now going out, I wouldn't go out with, a revealing outfit or even a choker necklace or anything like that. I would be as covered up as possible, because I want them to be able to get to know me as a person and not focus on something that they feel like they want to see more of later, not to make them feel like, oh, I can see that she has this on or she's looking like this, so let me see if I can get more of that. No, you need to get more of this face. That's what you need more of. You need to get to know this face and me as a person and my soul and my heart. Okay, but number five is stick together. In horror movies, they always split up. They always get divided and conquered. The wife turns against the husband, the kids turn against the parents, the cops don't show up. All this mess starts happening because everyone is so divided. So you do not want to be divided and conquered, and you do not want to split up, and you do not want to isolate yourself. Your best ally while you're dating are strong, powerful women who are by your side, who are matriarchal figures for you, who are trustworthy, who have great wisdom, because you do not want to do this by yourself. Trust me, you will make the dumbest decisions alive possible, and you won't even realize it. You'll just think about it like, you'll make the decision, and then like 3 months later, you'll be like, what was I thinking? You weren't thinking, but you didn't know you weren't thinking. So you need people around you who will help you, and you want to make sure you are sticking together at all times. Don't let what someone says, come between you and, what a guy says come between you and your friends or your female relationships. You want to hold tight because you want to be able to have those people to connect with, to get guidance from, to be supported, and to support them in whatever it is they're doing. So you want to make sure you are sticking together at all times. You do not want to be out here alone trying to date. That is step one to creating a whole nightmare scenario. Do not divide yourself. Do not let yourself be divided and conquered, and stick together. Okay, so those are our five tips to surviving this dating nightmare, to surviving this horror story that has become the dating world. I'm out here trying to survive, do my best, learn about myself. One thing I've been working on recently within dating is really being in a space where I'm looking for connection and not trying to find some kind of value through my relationships. It's gotten better, but I still have, we all have a lot of work to do, and it never ends. So for me personally, I feel like I got a lot of work to do in relationships, but I shared all these tips today because these are all things that I've been taught that I want to share with you. I think are powerful, valuable, and can be transformational to your dating experience if you practice them and choose to do them. I'm in practice as well, so I'm not teaching you anything, or I'm not sharing anything that I have mastered or that I'm the guru of. These are things that I am currently also learning to work with and practice in my own life. So that's that on that. And also, as a side note, my costume today, for those of you who are watching on video, is jilted prom queen, distressed prom queen. I just had a vision in my mind of this here happening, and then I have my crown, and then I have my little prom queen thing, my sash. So this is the vision I got. This is what I decided to do. But this is what I'm doing right now. Let's see. So that is it for this episode. If you would like to, do-it-yourself exercises. Do anything that's in this video. Try it out for yourself and see how it works. And then send me an email if you do it. It's amberbycreation@gmail.com. Email me. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, how you react to this, any responses, or another tip. Because, I have 5, but, there's so many more things that we could talk about inside of dating that are so comparable to horror movies. So send me an email. And also, hit me on Instagram @AmberShawnee. You can connect with me there. And that's it. That's it. And that's all. So thank you so much for listening, for watching, for taking in this information. I pray that this has supported you, inspired you, lifted you in some way, at least giving you a different perspective. And have a blessed, beautiful day until our next episode of Amber by Creation.